Hi YouTube, and welcome back to my random thoughts on Thursdays. This week I am doing a Q&A video. Okay, first of all I want to apologize for not posting a video last week. I was just really super busy with work and I couldn't think of anything to vlog either, so I just ended up just not posting anything. And earlier this week I went to Twitter and Google Plus and everything and asked folks to ask me some questions. And so I got a few questions and I am going to go ahead and answer them. The first question I got was asking me what was my biggest life lesson. And I took some time to think about this, and I think my biggest life lesson for me was to learn to basically rely on myself first. You can't always rely on friends, family, government, other entities, and that kind of thing. It just, people, even with the people with the best intentions who want to help you, things come up in their lives and they just can't. If you need help moving, or if you need help making your rent check, or just any of the things that people need in life. And so if you can always rely on yourself first, making sure that you can get yourself a job, which I know in this economy is tough, but somehow finding a way of earning an income to keep food on the table and a roof over your head and clothes clean, and actually having clothes. So the basic necessities, if you can rely on yourself to provide yourself with that, then you're just doing good in life, in my opinion. It's nice to be able to rely on other people to help when you need it, but in my experience, that just doesn't always happen. I saw this happen with my mom. I saw this happen with my grandparents, where we lived in poverty quite a bit, and we didn't always get the help we needed when we needed it. There were times when we didn't have money for food and we just didn't eat, and there weren't support networks out there to help us. I mean, I remember my mom trying to get on welfare at one point because she couldn't find a job, and they denied her. They said, no, you're not eligible. Even though she hadn't been working in over a year, she blew through all her unemployment income, and she wasn't getting any more of that. And she had a daughter. She had me. I was about 12 at the time. I was legally too young to work without getting special. There's special paperwork to allow someone under the age of 14 to actually work a job, and then from 14 to 18 you can only work part-time. At least that was the rules in the state of Illinois when I was a kid. So I couldn't work and bring in money. She wasn't finding any work, and we weren't getting any assistance from anybody. We lived with my grandparents, who were living on $500 a month Social Security income, and so they were trying to stretch that for all four of us instead of just the two of them. So things were tough, and I remember making a promise to myself that I was always going to try and make sure that I could rely on myself and be independent and not need anything from anybody. And I'm still that way to this day. I mean, I'm so focused on that with my husband and I, even though my husband over the years has generally earned more income than I have with his previous job at Intel and everything. And I have always insisted on splitting everything 50-50 with him, including the house that we bought. That I couldn't afford to pay $50% cash for the house, so I ended up taking on a mortgage for my half. But I'm like, no, this house has to be 50-50. It has to be split evenly, because I want to, to me, I want to have not just an equal, like feeling like I'm an equal partnership with my husband, but I want to do my equal share in the relationship. I've always been this way, whether we go out for meals and things. Every now and again, he'll treat me, I'll treat him, that kind of thing. But day-to-day stuff, we split everything 50-50, because, to be perfectly honest, it makes me feel like I am, still relying on myself. I'm not relying on my husband to cover me because I'm not making as much money and stuff. And actually, now that we're both self-employed, we're actually on equal footing at this point, which is kind of cool. But for a long time we weren't, and I still insisted on splitting things equally, and he's really like that. But it's my thing. It's just I need to be able to split everything 50-50 and stand on my own 2 feet and just rely on myself. So anyway, I don't know if that was a lesson, but anyway, that's what I came up with for that question. Question 2 was Star Trek or Star Wars, or it was Star Wars and Star Trek, but either, it doesn't matter in which order because both. I am that kind of a geek. I love both of them. Star Wars, is a wonderful kind of epic, it's sort of sci-fi, but it is sort of fantasy, sort of like a big sci-fi, fantasy, futuristic, epic tale, with princesses, and you got the swords and everything. I mean, it is an epic fantasy, just set in a very futuristic world, so it feels sci-fi, even though I guess a lot of people argue whether or not it's actually sci-fi or not because of the themes and everything in the story. I mean, it's got spaceships and things, but so it's kind of a sci-fi-ish epic fantasy kind of a thing, futuristic epic fantasy, but I love it. I always loved the stories. The episode 4 through 6 obviously are the classics, and I'm one of those weird people. I actually didn't hate episodes 1 through 3. Okay, they might not have been quite as amazing as the originals, but I don't know, I liked them. I mean, I didn't hate them. I might not like them as much, but I don't know, I'll watch them again. As for Star Trek, I mean, to me, Star Wars has always been movies, just pure movies, that's it. Star Trek started off in TVs, kind of branched out to movies, but they kind of had movies and TV going at the same time for a long time. And now they've got the new reboot and everything that's movies only. I wish they'd bring a series back on TV, to be perfectly honest, but and Star Trek is more pure sci-fi, and not the whole epic fantasy that Star Wars is. But to be perfectly honest, I really, really enjoy both of them. I've seen every movie of Star Wars and every episode of Star Trek that has ever existed, including the original series, Next Generation, DS9, Voyager, Enterprise, and I've seen almost all the movies. I haven't seen the most recent reboot movie yet. I wasn't able to get to see the movie while it was in the theaters, and I've been waiting for it to come on Netflix, but it hasn't. And I don't have Netflix DVD, I only have the streaming, so I'm just waiting for it to come to streaming at this point, because I want to see it before I actually buy the DVD. I don't want to just buy the DVD. And I don't feel like upgrading my Netflix just so that I can rent the DVD either. So I haven't seen that one yet. But I've seen all the rest of them. But I'm a big sci-fi geek, and I love, like, Stargate's another big franchise that I love as well, and I don't know, I just love all of them. I'm non-discriminatory when it comes to this kind of stuff. Okay, and last question, how did I come up with my username? And this is a convoluted story, as it were. Okay, so when I was a kid, so I was born in Chicago. My family immigrated to the U.S. back in the 50s. I was born in 1971, but we still have contacts with relatives in Germany, and we exchange letters and Christmas packages and that kind of thing every year. And the folks in Germany always referred to me as die kleine Gänschen von Michigansee, which translates as the little goose from Lake Michigan. And so when I was trying to think of a cool username for the internet, starting around 2000 or so, because I went through several different types of usernames, and I was trying to think of one, and I really wanted to get a username that kind of reflected my childhood. I really wanted Schatzi originally, which is what my grandmother used to refer to me to, which translates as little treasure. But Schatzi was taken everywhere, so I was like, okay, I'm gonna not do that. I didn't want like Schatzi 1234 or something silly like that. I wanted a name without numbers in it. And so I thought back to what my relatives called me, and I thought, well, maybe I could be Kleineganz, because I'm now grown up, so I can't be Kleineganzian, little baby goose. I could just be little goose. But the proper spelling of Kleineganz, if you want to be little goose, would have an S on the end and not a Z. And unfortunately, the one with the S on the end was already taken as well. And when I came up with the username, I thought, well, everyone's switching S's for Z's these days, to make their usernames look cool. So I thought, well, let me just throw the Z at the end. And it didn't occur to me at the time that it actually changes the whole meaning, because there actually is a word Gunz with a Z at the end, which means like whole or complete, depending on the context of the sentence. And so it didn't occur to me until later on that my username is Kleineganz, which would be like a little bit of the whole. Or if you switch them around, ganz kleine, I mean like very small. So like the meaning of the word ganz with the Z at the end would change its meaning based on its context and use in a sentence and everything. And so it's kind of confusing, because if you're a German speaker, it's not gonna make sense. But I still mean it to mean little goose, even though it's misspelled. So there's the convoluted story behind my username, and one of the reasons why. Everyone thinks it's a duck, but the little fluffy yellow bird that I have as my avatar actually is a gosling, which is a baby goose. And for my gaming channel, even though the picture looks like a cartoon duck, it could be a cartoon goose as well, because baby geese and baby ducks, goslings and ducklings, look very, very similar. The only difference is that goslings are bigger, but unless you actually put them right next to each other, you can't tell the difference. Because goslings look almost exactly like a duckling, except for the fact that they're just bigger. So anyway, there's the convoluted answer to that question. Okay, well, thank you so much for the folks who asked me the questions. I really appreciate that. And if folks have any other questions or anything else, topics that you would like me to cover, leave comments in the comments below. I love ranting about all sorts of different things, as you all know, because I'm child-free, atheist, libertarian, sci-fi geek, gamer, all this stuff. So any of those things, fair game to ask me questions about and things, and maybe I'll make another a vlog about something that you asked me. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and please share it. And if you're not subscribed yet, please subscribe. I love getting new subscribers. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye.